it would be great if we could get some more content. So I basically had a huge set schedule of wrestlers for them to interview, and they just could not have been any more thankful, and they were just amazed that I could get them all this content for them, and they just loved their time there, and basically we all just really clicked. It was one of those magical moments, you know how when you meet someone and just something awesome happens and you just all get along, and there's just that instant chemistry and even friendship, I would say. Yeah. Even friendship, I would say. It just all sort of snowballed very quickly. We all stayed in contact after the 5-star tour, and then it basically snowballed from there, and the guys were very keen for me to come on board. They pitched to their bosses about me. They couldn't have gone any more back for me than what they did. They were like, no, we really want her to be a part of this. And then basically that was when we did the live reactions, and then there was the whole build-up that Adam did with the guys, which was just incredible, and it was something that I'd never ever really experienced either, where it just all seemed to just happen so quickly. And then I was down in Newcastle filming and did the filming, and we also did the Cesaro section, and it's just been brilliant because the WhatCulture community they've been amazing. They've been so welcoming. They've not judged. I mean, obviously you get the few trolls in the comment section, but I was expecting that. I was very well prepared for that. I've got quite a thick skin, so I could take the criticisms and the things that they had to say. But no, that's basically how the WhatCulture thing happened. In terms of the whole Pachiti Club DX angle, when we first sort of discussed, had the sort of like, okay, Pachiti Club, we're starting our own thing with DX and Adam, and I was like, okay, right, I'm into it. It's just been the first sort of thing that WhatCulture's done where they've really transformed it into this big storyline, which is really exciting for them, because the guys that work there, they're such a creative bunch of human beings. They're so intelligent and very creative. And this whole Pachiti Club DX thing is really giving them that anchor to be creative and go crazy with it. And everyone's just having so much fun doing it. It's just been an absolute blast. It's been so much fun.
Now, with all these positive things that you've said about WhatCulture, I got to ask you, Adam Blampier, is he a big of a cocky prick as he is in character, as he is in actual real life, or is he just kind of more one of the nicer guys that just plays his character way too well?
I don't know how to answer that. Interesting question. I mean, Adam's amazing. He's such a funny guy. He's great at his craft. He's been so encouraging with me. He's been really great. He's given me so much awesome advice. He's great. He's a very good guy. But yeah, he can be cocky. And he can be. He's just Adam. You know how when people say that Vince McMahon on TV is just Vince McMahon times a million?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Adam Blompe on camera is Adam Blompe in real life times a million.
Oh, man. I can only imagine.
I think that's probably the most flattering way I can put it for him.
And Adam Blampier, no disrespect to you if you're listening to this, because honestly, funniest guy, and I had loads of respect for him, especially with the Adam versus Adam challenges, where he did the cinnamon challenge, especially the chops that he had to do. Oh man, when I saw him do the chops, I'm just thinking to myself, I even know how those feel, and that is not. Oh man.
That was not an enjoyable experience for him. That is definitely for sure.
Well,
no, he's wonderful, and he's. I mean, everyone rattles on about WhatCulture. wouldn't be what it is without Adam, but to a certain extent, they're definitely right in what they say. He's funny, he's talented, he's clever,
he can do a super
brilliant.
kick.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team at WhatCulture really are amazing. Like I said, the ones that work sort of with the YouTube channel, because obviously they're fighters, it's this whole big, huge thing that's not just WhatCulture wrestling, it's so much bigger than that. But in terms of the YouTube channel and how the group of people that got it to the 500,000 subscribers that it has, they're an absolute credit to the company. They work so hard, they work crazy hours. Sam, who's the video editor, oh my goodness, that boy is just so incredibly talented. He can edit a video. He could probably edit a video in his sleep. He's that great. And his timing, his comedic timing with it is very good. He will make you look like $1 million. And obviously I've experienced that firsthand because he did such a great job with my video and just made me probably a lot better than what I am. So all credit goes to Sam for that, really.
So speaking of of your video, the Cesaro section, how did that kind of come about? Was that just one of those things where, how did the name come about? Was it just something that just seemed catchy? Was it just one of those things that kind of rolled off the tongue and it's like, oh, this might actually work? Or was it just kind of something that you created?
Well, it actually, I mean, people think, we just came up with the idea and then that was it. I really went through a complete creative process when coming up with the concept of the video. It wasn't just, we'll just call it that and we'll just read out a few comments and then that's it, that's a video. There was definitely a huge creative process to it because obviously I was new to the company and there was things that I was able to sort of notice quite straight away, like the community. WhatCulture wrestling is nothing without the community. They're awesome people. They're so invested in WhatCulture wrestling, and that was sort of the basis of I wanted to do something that highlighted them and gave them a spotlight because I felt like that wasn't really being done enough on the channel for the fact that they play such a huge part. So I was like, well, I want to do something for them. I want to do something that highlights them, and so to say. So that was how the concept was created. In terms of the name, it was just basically a night where I think me, Sam and Jack had a Facebook chat together and we were just talking about the concept and what we were going to call it. And I originally just wanted to call it the comment section. And I can't remember whether it was Sam or Jack that actually said, just flippantly, just as a joke, and just said, why don't we call it the Cesaro section? Because the syllables just work perfectly with the first part of my name and then obviously the rest of Cesaro. Like, it just worked really, really well. And then obviously how the Cesaro section is based round about the fans and their participation. We thought it worked perfectly well. The whole calling it the Cesaro section is it was part of the community, and that was sort of how the concept came about.
Well, speaking of Cesaro, he is actually one of the guys that has now been on the long list of injuries that has happened with WWE, or as Adam likes to call it, Injury Mania, of the musical for WrestleMania this year. How do you feel that? Do you think that WWE has capitalized positively or negatively since with all these injuries that have happened?
It's a hard one because I think at the start when it just seemed to be a revolving door of injuries. It would just seem to be one after the other. I think at the start they obviously were not prepared in the slightest. It seems to be that WWE doesn't have what's the word I'm looking for? That's terrible. I should know this. Like a strategy when things go wrong. They don't have enough plans, emergency planning, where if one of their top guys gets injured, what happens? and so they have like a plan of action that they can go straight into. Because when Seth Rollins got injured, I mean that was so obviously really shocking. It was at our UK show, like a UK house show, so it just seemed to be he was fine, he was okay, and then he's gone. And I think that for the fans was a big moment where everybody just panicked, and I actually think WWE might have panicked as well, because obviously some of the booking straight after that just wasn't. The fans weren't engaged. The fans didn't want to see what WWE had to offer. But I feel like as time's gone on, and not that the people who are injured have gone to the back of people's minds, that's not the case, but it's the initial shock, and then as time goes by, people are getting used to the fact that they're not there. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they have dealt with it okay, but then I think obviously the shock of how many happened one after the other, they just couldn't keep up. And I think that's maybe affected storylines and how the fans have reacted to the storylines as well.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people have really underestimated WrestleMania, because now they're making it seem like NXT TakeOver Dallas is going to be the better show. But in your opinion, do you think that WrestleMania could still have a chance of being the better show than NXT Dallas? Or do you think that Dallas is just kind of in a league of its own and it's kind of hard to top that?
I don't know. I think this WrestleMania is going to be one of these ones where we just have to wait and see on the night. It wasn't last year. I think it was the WrestleMania before. It wasn't last WrestleMania. The WrestleMania before was one of those ones as well, where people had to wait till on the night to see if it was actually going to be any good.
Right.
But I feel like that's happening more than too often nowadays, where they plan WrestleMania, they plan the matches, and the fans are going, oh, I don't know if this is going to be any good. And that is not good. The fans should be absolutely gunning, excited, best thing ever, because it is the granddaddy of them all, and it's WrestleMania. But I am so excited about Shane versus Undertaker. I have popped so hard for that match. I am so excited for it. But to be honest, I just kind of feel, I think some of the matches are going to be really, really good, but I feel like some of them may have just been thrown together quite quickly. But NXT, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Well, I think a good example of what you mentioned, things getting thrown together, was last night. They announced a 7-man ladder match for the IC title. Kevin Owens defending against 6 other guys. Mm-hmm. I know that they had rumors about one of either the US title or the IC title being defended in a multi-man matchup. In my opinion, I much rather would have seen, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens one-on-one. That would have been the moneymaker. But we still get to see it, just not in the way that we want to.
No, because that's the thing. The fans don't want to see that multi-man match. They want to see a good, solid match between one person against one person, a proper singles match. They don't want all the hustle and bustle and all the craziness of people jumping about and not being able to catch all the action. They want Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and that should have been what the fans got for the IC title.
Definitely. And on that same note, the main event possibly being Roman Reigns versus Triple H. How can they possibly get the people to get behind Roman Reigns? I know they've been doing a good job of shoving him down our throats, but is there any way that they could salvage a way to have, Roman Reigns somehow be the guy that they either cheer or the guy that they boo? I know people have suggested the idea of a heel turn, but in your opinion, what's the better route to go with Roman Reigns?
As someone who's a PR and advertising person, I kind of feel like it's been an absolute PR disaster for them. The fact that they can't seem to get the fans on board with Roman Reigns. And I feel like